Oh man, what is up all you beautiful peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well so far, drinking your liquids. And yes, we got a great topic out there as Nadeshot in a recent interview and podcast came forth and said over the past 6 to 12 months, he had almost left 100 Thieves at some point due to the pressure of the job, which was a crazy thing to be revealed. I think people maybe suspected this as we talked about months ago, Nadeshot removing CEO and 100 Thieves from his bio around the same time Valkyrie did the same thing. It was crazy times. And of course, 100 Thieves also changed around a lot of their C-class employees, including John Robinson, who parted ways with the company. So a lot of moving pieces were going around and people thought, okay, what's going on with Nadeshot? What's going on with 100 Thieves? He is still with the company, but we found out he almost wasn't.
Battle now with myself like I would have when I wasn't interested in taking photos anymore. I don't enjoy doing this right now, and I need to find another creative outlet, which is what streaming has been for me lately. But I don't even know what the original question was. It just kind of kicked up a lot of... The last 6 months of last year were really hard for me because I thought that I was going to leave the company because the pressure of running the business was just too much. But yeah, building a business is really, really hard. And you need good people around you to be able to do it. It's fucking stressful.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I can only imagine, especially when you're having these $1 million injections into the company and you have all these guys and girls who you're trying to like.
And all of this around talking about raising funds and continuing to make money in esports. You think back 4 to 5 years during the, I would say, the peak of esports at a financial, influx of cash from all of these different sources, tons of companies and teams and orgs out there taking investment capital, which Nadeshot also speaks to. It was a very stressful thing to have to go out and bring in more money and then to do things with that money, which I think is ultimately what led to a lot of that pressure of running a company like 100 Thieves. And they've already gone through at least a double round of layoffs since then. It's not an easy job by any means. And a lot of esports orgs took that money and they had to figure out how to make it work afterwards.
The money that we were raising, pretty much historically for the entirety of 100 Thieves, we were raising money because we wanted to reinvest back in the business. Like we were proving our model and we just needed more money to scale faster, which I think was dangerous for us. At that time, the markets were great. Everybody's writing a check. They didn't really care about how much money you were losing or burning every single month. They want to know how much were you making in profit. And so everything started just going up and up and up. So you know that you're ready to raise if your burn and is just too extensive and you're going to run out of money, you got to raise. Normally that's a down round. But if you have like a genuine conviction around what will take this company to the next level, but it just needs like a capital injection to get it there, that's normally when you start raising again and drumming up interest. It's a grueling process of like 6 to 12 months, sometimes 18 from like start to finish. And you got to be really smart about the decisions you make and the different levers that are in that seeds here or in that round of funding, because it affects everything, like all the employees, their ownership and equity in the company, the board members, the past investors or the early investors. So it's certainly not something that I could have ever done on my own.
And then even more so, he speaks more to something he has talked about in the past, the ADD-like mentality that he has. He's also referenced someone like FaZe Banks too, where him and Nadeshot are alike in the fact that they have interest, a very diehard interest in something for a few months at a time, and they maybe take a step back and are like, I want to do something different for a little bit, which he speaks to. It's hard to want to run 100 Thieves or to run a company like 100 Thieves when sometimes he wants to be a streamer, right? He can be hands-on and all in for 3 months at a time, but sometimes his attention, it goes elsewhere, which I think for a lot of regular people, that's very common.
But you can't make money if people don't love it.
Has there been a moment, I know you guys have had insane success with merch, with content, with everything that you guys have built. Was there ever a moment where you felt like it was slipping away a little bit from you? And if so, what did you kind of do or meet with the team to kind of get it back on track to where you thought it should be going?
The problem that I have is kind of like the ADHD tendencies. Like with a business, it's very dangerous to love something and that's all you want to do for like 3 months. And then 6 months later, the team is executing on now what you were making the decisions on, and it just doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel, it's like having somebody else edit your video. You're like, I know people are saying they like this, but I fucking hate it. And you can't, you can only give so much feedback on how things are done creatively or from a marketing perspective. And again, like when you raise more money, the expectations are higher and the more money you need to make. So then you don't have time to do any of the things that you really enjoyed doing. And now the people that are doing them are doing a good enough job for them, but you just fucking hate everything you see. You're like, I would have never put this in this on this graphic for this fucking event. I know that sounds insane, but it's just like the little shit that I didn't have time to like impose my will, because I don't also want to be like that.
Right.
That guy's like my way or the highway. And people would be so proud of the work, but I'm like, oh, I fucking hate it. I hate it. So that 100 Thieves kind of turned into this.
And so all in all, to hear him say at one point he considered leaving 100 Thieves, it just immediately makes you think, okay, how would that work, right? How would Optic work without someone like Hex or Scump, right? How would 100 Thieves work without Nadeshot? How would G2, back in the day especially, work without someone like Carlos? How would FaZe be without Banks, right? It is these pivotal features and these characters in these teams, whether it's on the content side or the esports side or just as a creator, how would they work without these pivotal people? And would they even be able to? It's crazy to wonder what 100 Thieves would be like without Nadeshot. Ironically so, last week we talked about Hex and saying, hey, would you ever welcome Nadeshot back to Optic? And he said, for sure, which also makes sense. Like, there's no way Hex was going to say no to that question.
And thank God my partner at the time, John Robinson, had come from Ventures, so he was very acclimated to the environment. But it's not easy to do.
And in that first year, did you meet expectations? Did you surpass expectations of what you had for 100 Thieves?
For what I had from like a financial perspective, or
how did you gauge success? Was it from a financial perspective, or were you just like the culture, like we have a pulse on it?
Listen, these big merchandise drops were fucking crazy. Like, I never in my wildest dreams thought we would do like a 1.75 in an apparel drop. I think we did 2 at one point for one of them. The No Camping collection back from like 20.
That's funny, dude.
18.
I should get one of those.
I still have all the product from it just sitting in my closet. I loved it so much. But that became kind of like vlogging. No bullshit. It's where you had the successful apparel drop. You did them like 4, 5, 6 times a year, and it was like, holy shit, I can't believe we're doing this. But then if you invest in your apparel and you try to grow the team, you're trying to do more collaborations, you're trying to do more drops, all of a sudden you're like, going through the P&L for the next year and all the forecasts, you're like, we can double revenue in our apparel, no problem. So then you do more drops, and it doesn't turn into like, this was a massive success, I can't believe we sold this much product. It was like, you need to sell this much product for this to even be happy about this drop. And so if we didn't sell out, that was like, holy fuck, this sucks. But in reality, we just sold like 1.2 million, but we're not happy because we didn't get to like the 1.5, and now we got that product sitting in the warehouses. It just becomes like this terrible expectation when you try to grow too fast of like what means success in the future. But
it's great to see these podcasts and interviews where he is just very open about the business side of things. And 100 Thieves almost lost someone like Nadeshot, luckily did not this time around, as he speaks to more of the pressures of running an esports team. And it can't be easy, but the grass is greener, right? Right, people? The grass is freaking greener. We can hope, and we're building towards something that's hopefully going to be big in the future. So we hope you guys all enjoy. Drink those liquids, all right? Well, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.